Hey guys, welcome back to Bump in the Mic, or welcome if you're new here. We're going to cover all things paranormal, supernatural, and downright weird. I'm Clyde,
And I'm Gregory.
and we're actually kicking off a new series here. So we've got a couple going on the channel. This is going to be Cryptid Countdown, and we're actually starting with mimics.
Excellent. And we're talking like the entities or creatures that can imitate human voices, like familiar sounds or sometimes even appearances. Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, there's been reports of like people talking about they hear. It can get kind of crazy. Like they'll hear their loved one trying to call them upstairs. Like it could be a mom or a wife or something. They'll hear them like, "Honey, come upstairs. Like I need your help. I need." And then they'll be getting ready to go upstairs, and they'll either see their loved one pull into the driveway, or they'll get a text or something like, "I'll be home in 20 minutes," and they'll be, like, "Oh, wait, wait a minute. Like something's not right right
Time
here."
time to go. Time to burn the house down and start over.
Yeah, absolutely. Because sometimes these people will even talk about they try to reply to it, or they'll call up and they'll be like, "Who are you?" And it'll be like, "I need your help." It repeats it. They'll be like, "I need your help. Come up here." And they'll be like, "What's your name?" Like they'll try to engage with it, and it just keeps like, "Come up here, come up here." And like some people even have some crazier stories. I found a few on Reddit that are pretty wild.
Yeah, and a lot of the stuff on Reddit is pretty wild. But yeah, 100%. Because like the mimics, like they're they're not the same as doppelgangers. They're not the same as poltergeists. Like they seem to focus most of their energy and attention on deception through sound. Is that a fair
Mhm.
statement? So, but there's been reports of them actually like manifesting in some form as well. In fact, many of the Native American folklores that talk about like skinwalkers are often attributed to mimics. Um,
Mm.
it's the same type of behavior, so maybe they're one and the same. Who knows? But
Yeah, I don't
a
know.
lot
I've
of that,
definitely always been interested in like the Wendigo and the Skinwalker lore, and definitely the stories that come from that. So,
yeah, a lot of them seem to overlap. So it'd be an interesting delve to separate
Mhm.
the two and figure out what makes them, tick, so to speak.
I think if I could say one thing that I noticed that's different about the mimics is they seem to appear even in the home. So these people will just be at home, and all of a sudden, something is mimicking someone they love, or like it's kind of crazy. Like I've got one story here, uh, and this one goes out to a Reddit comment that I discovered while I was looking into all this stuff by Oculot, and he's saying that he remembers back when he was in high school, he was playing video games on his computer, just having fun, thinking nothing of it. He was home for the day, and his mom opened the door, and he says when she opened the door, she told him she was there for lunch and to come out when he was ready. And he said he thought it was weird because she was wearing a blue shirt. Since you mentioned people seeing them, he said he thought it was weird because she was wearing a blue shirt and he'd never seen her wear that shirt before. And she left and he continued playing games. He did not go out. And an hour later, his mom again opened the door and said she was there for lunch, this time in a completely different outfit with a white shirt. And he said that she said, "Oh, she got lunch. She wanted to know if he wanted some fries, this and that." She actually talked to him this time instead of just saying one line and leaving. And he said he told her like, "I saw you an hour ago. You were on lunch." She was wearing a blue shirt, and she was like super confused. And she said she hadn't been home, that she hadn't been wearing a blue shirt at all that day, and that she was on her lunch now, and that was her lunch every day. So she
Hmm.
didn't know who was there in a blue shirt or why it looked like her. And there's other people that commented on that as well, talking about how they've had similar experiences with mimics pretending to be their mom or their brother. One was Mary MDM, and she even commented that she had an entity pretend to be her mom, and that when she thought something was wrong, she says she actually called out to it and said that she didn't believe that it was her mom, basically. You're not my mom. And then she said the voice changed from her mom's into a like deeper voice that was no
Gee.
longer her mom's that said, "Yes, I
Oh
am."
man. Jesus Christ.
So there's people with some crazy mimic stories.
Yeah,
I
and
myself have never encountered one, but
I haven't either, but that we know of, like that's the interesting thing, right? Is if they're really good at mimicking voices and such, like maybe you have and you just didn't realize it, assuming that it was real and either ignored it or circumstances were just so that you just didn't, otherwise it didn't affect you otherwise.
that could be the case. But I just wonder, like, what would their goal be? Like, are you trying to like lure them downstairs to do something to them, or like, what is the point of doing that? That's what I can't quite
Yeah,
understand.
and most of like the lore surrounding these things describe them as like a luring spirit. There's very little or more no information about what happens if you go towards it, and maybe there's not anybody that survived that to tell about it, right? But who knows? But
That's kind of what I'm wondering, because we have all the stories are of people that didn't go towards it.
yeah,
So
but it's interesting because it's not localized to one a nation, one continent, or anything. There's stuff in folklore from all over the globe throughout history, and then of course stories today from everywhere as well. The Native Americans described voices in the woods that would copy, their tribesmen to, lure them deeper into the woods. Celtic and European folklore talked about like fae spirits that would borrow voices. Um, Asian folklore, they describe a spirit that they call Noperabo, or a faceless spirit that are tied to the mimicry of voices. So probably the same thing. And then of course the modern paranormal circles. You watch the like the ghost hunter shows, or see any of the amateur hunting delves that people have done, and you get recorded voices of team members as part of that unit that come through like a speaker or whatever, but that person's right there and they're not saying that.
yeah, I mean it's definitely weird, and it kind of makes you like wonder if it's true or not, because it's so spread out. Like all these different cultures, all these different through time have the same story. But it's like you're saying, 100%. Like we don't know what happens if you actually go to it, because we've never. That's never a story that you see online or anywhere,
You're
really.
right. And who knows like what the goal is, right? Are they actually physical beings? Are they just a spirit? um I was looking up like an image of one to like show, and because they're like a mimic, or, they imitate things, there's not like a fixed um you know vestige to show. Like this is one that I found, which is creepy as hell. And it reminds me of like a like a skinwalker type thing, but who knows? Like this is obviously something that someone either created or generated. But who knows like what form they actually take, especially since most of the stories talk about them as like disembodied voices.
Yeah, I feel like we're gonna have to come up with like a code language, so that if you're like yelling for me to like come downstairs next time I'm over, like we could do like the whole flash thunder kind of situation.
Yeah, right. Well, that's what makes them so fucking terrifying, is that they exploit the most human thing, and that is like trust in familiar voices, right?
Yeah,
'Cause if you hear it like this deep, bassy voice off in the woods and you're camping with your buddies, you're not gonna even consider going near that, right? Like you're gonna friggin' barricade, do whatever, like that that's not right. But you hear your buddy calling out in the woods, like you may not think anything of it. That's
yeah,
that's what makes it terrible, like
and you're right.
shockingly terrible.
You're right. It definitely links up because that does play into some of what we'll get into later in another episode with the like the skinwalkers and stuff that they'll also try to lure you in with familiar voices and stuff like that. So it's horrifying in and of itself. And I definitely would be more interested in like learning about if there is anyone that ever followed that voice. Like what happened when you got there? What happened when you actually went to the mimic? Like um I actually haven't been able to find anything on that yet. And I mean, uh I would be super interested if anybody out there, any of you guys have mimic stories or if you have knowledge on it. Comment, shoot us an email, tell us something. I think Gregory as well. Like we would love to hear anything you guys have to say.
Yeah, I mean, firsthand accounts are always preferable than us like digging through, tales on the internet or whatever we can find in books and stuff. We'd love to hear from you. And there's always like that emails in the description, DM us, do whatever. And the thought came to me, like, I'm wondering if these things not only mimic us, but like animals too, like animal sounds. Because there's definitely been times like camping or hunting or whatever that I'll hear like say something tromping through the woods or an owl hooting or an elk bugle or whatever, and I go to that location, there's no sign of anything around. You know what I mean? Like it's sometimes hard to find a freaking anything in the woods, right? But it's like right next to you, it sounds like, and you turn and look and there's nothing there. So that's something I hadn't even considered until just now when we were talking about it. And I don't, that kind of makes it worse for me, honestly, for the amount of time I spend in the woods. Like,
It, it's kind of crazy too, because like I wonder too, like what it is, like that intuition or the feeling we have in us, where these people when they're telling these stories, when somebody is calling out to them, and it's a recognizable voice, or you hear an animal or something like that, but there's still something inside of us that tells us something's not right.
right. And it's like a natural reaction. It's something like built
Yeah.
into us, like an intuition. And another thing that bothers me too is how do they understand like how to mimic or how to imitate that voice, right? Are they hanging around out of sight, like getting these voices down, or are they pulling it from within us and our memory and things? Like it's impossible to study. We've never like captured one, right? But it's an interesting thought.
Yeah, it's weird. It's something to like sleep on or lose sleep over. But
Yeah.
I don't. Uh, yeah, that's crazy. I really hope somebody sends us in a firsthand account because that would be awesome if we had somebody that actually experienced it.
Yeah, and I guess it gives you like a built-in excuse the next time your wife asks you to do something and you say, sorry, I thought it was a mimic. Like I'm not playing that game.
100%. I mean, if you use it 3 times, she might start not
Yeah,
falling.
like save it for the really bad chores that you really don't want to do that day or whatever.
Yeah, the really bad one. Like you got to like build a shed or something in the backyard. And, well, I thought,
It was a mimic. I wasn't like you saw the episode,
uh, oh man. But all right, guys. If you're still here, thank you guys for watching, and please send us your stories. Doesn't just have to be mimics. We have a bunch of different content, so you can send us ghost stories, anything paranormal, supernatural, downright weird. If you got up and saw something weird in the corner of your room, whatever, just send us the story, and we'd love to tell you guys stories here.
or the corner of your eye constantly, right? Like we'll talk about that in a different episode too. But yeah, this is a cryptid countdown. So we're going to be going through like a whole list of different, beings and entities and things of that nature, and just kind of diving into the lore surrounding them, as well as, some stories. And we'll go from there. So this is our first foray into that. So if you like that, just stay tuned on our YouTube channel. There'll be a playlist for Cryptid Countdown, and then that's where we'll have playlists for our America, the Haunted series, where we go state by state talking about haunted locations and stories. And then just keep up. We're trying to put a lot of content out for you guys to keep regular. So just let us know if there's something you'd like to see and we'll include it.
All right, thanks, guys.
Yeah, appreciate it. See ya.